List the network attack. Explain any two of them. Understanding various network attacks is important in the field of cybersecurity. Here, I will provide an overview of some common network attacks, then explain two major attacks: DOS, Distributed Denial of Service, attacks, and man-in-the-middle, MITM, attacks. Common network attacks: DOS, Distributed Denial of Service, attack. In a DOS attack, the attacker floods a network or server with excessive requests, overwhelming its resources and rendering it unable to respond to legitimate users. These attacks often involve botnets, networks of compromised computers organized by the attacker to flood the target with traffic. Man-in-the-middle, MITM, attack. In a MITM attack, the attacker intercepts communications between two parties, often without their knowledge. This allows the attacker to monitor communications, manipulate data, or impersonate one of the parties. Phishing attacks. Phishing attacks involve the use of deceptive emails, messages, or websites to trick users into revealing sensitive information such as login credentials or financial details. SQL injection. SQL injection attacks exploit vulnerabilities in web applications to insert malicious SQL code into database queries. This could lead to unauthorized access to sensitive data or even complete compromise of the database. Malware attacks. Malware, or malicious software, is designed to infiltrate a computer system and cause damage. This includes viruses, worms, trojans, and ransomware, among others. DNS spoofing. DNS spoofing involves corrupting the DNS, domain name system, resolution process to redirect users to malicious websites. It can be used to conduct phishing attacks or distribute malware. Man-in-the-browser, MITB, attack. Similar to MITM attacks, MITB attacks occur when malware infects a user's web browser, allowing the attacker to manipulate web transactions, steal sensitive information, or add malicious code to web pages. Permission is granted to enter the code. Brute force attack. In a brute force attack, the attacker attempts to gain unauthorized access to the system by systematically trying all possible combinations of username and password until the right one is found. Zero-day exploits. Zero-day exploits target vulnerabilities in software that are not yet known to the vendor or have not been patched. Attackers exploit these vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access to the system or execute malicious code. Spying on Wi-Fi. Attackers can intercept Wi-Fi communications to eavesdrop on sensitive information such as passwords or financial transactions. This can be done through techniques such as packet sniffing or session hijacking. Explanation of phishing attacks and DOS attack. DDoS attack. A distributed denial of service, DOS, attack is a malicious attempt to disrupt the normal traffic of a targeted server, service, or network by flooding it with internet traffic. In a DOS attack, multiple compromised computer systems, often called botnets, are used to generate a flood of traffic, making it difficult to mitigate the attack by simply blocking a single IP address. How DOS attacks work. Botnet creation. The attacker infects a large number of computers, servers, or Internet of Things, IoT, devices with malware, effectively turning them into zombie machines under the attacker's control. These compromised devices form a botnet, which the attacker can remotely command to launch a DOS attack. Traffic generation. Once the botnet is assembled, the attacker launches a DOS attack by directing compromised devices to flood the target with massive amounts of traffic. This traffic can include different types of data depending on the nature of the attack, such as HTTP requests, UDP packets, or ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol, messages. Target overwhelm. The flood of incoming traffic overwhelms the target's resources, such as bandwidth, CPU, memory, or network connections, rendering it unable to respond to legitimate user requests. As a result, the target may become slow, unresponsive, or completely inaccessible to legitimate users. Types of DOS attacks. DOS attacks can be classified based on the techniques used to generate the flood of traffic. Some common types of DOS attacks include volumetric attacks. The goal of these attacks is to destroy the target's network infrastructure, such as routers, switches, or firewalls, by flooding it with massive amounts of traffic. Volumetric attacks often use amplification techniques such as DNS reflection or UDP amplification to increase the amount of traffic sent to a target. Protocol attacks. Protocol-based DOS attacks exploit vulnerabilities in network protocols or services to consume server resources. For example, SYN flooding attacks flood the target with TCP SYN packets, depleting server resources and preventing legitimate connections from being established. Application layer attacks. Application layer DOS attacks target the application layer of the OSI model, aiming to deplete server resources such as CPU or memory. These attacks often mimic legitimate user behavior, making them difficult to distinguish from normal traffic. Examples include HTTP flooding, which floods web servers with large numbers of HTTP requests, and slow LoRa's attacks, which exploit the design of the HTTP protocol to keep a server connection open indefinitely. Mitigation strategies. Mitigating DOS attacks requires a multi-layered approach to protect against different types of attacks and minimize their impact. Some common mitigation strategies include network infrastructure security, implementing robust network infrastructure such as firewalls, routers, and intrusion detection/prevention systems. IDPS helps detect and mitigate DOS attacks at the network level by filtering malicious traffic before it reaches the target. CAN-GET. Traffic filtering. Deploying traffic filtering solutions such as rate limiting, access control lists, ACLS, or content delivery networks, CDNs, can help filter out malicious traffic and prevent it from dominating the target's resources. CUD. DOS mitigation services. The use of specialized DOS mitigation services provided by third-party vendors can help detect and mitigate DOS attacks in real time, often filtering out malicious traffic while allowing legitimate traffic to pass through. Advanced traffic analysis and mitigation techniques are used for scalability and redundancy. Designing network infrastructure with scalability and redundancy in mind can help mitigate the impact of DOS attacks by distributing traffic across multiple servers or data centers and ensuring that critical services remain protected from attacks. Be accessible even under incident response planning. Developing and regularly testing incident response plans helps organizations respond effectively to DOS attacks by quickly identifying and mitigating attacks, minimizing downtime, and restoring normal operations as quickly as possible. CAN-GET. Phishing attacks. Phishing attacks are a prevalent form of cyber attack that uses social engineering techniques to trick individuals into revealing sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, credit card numbers or other personal data. These attacks typically involve the use of fraudulent emails, messages, or websites that pose as legitimate entities such as banks, social media platforms or online retailers. Phishing attacks can have serious consequences, including identity theft, financial loss, and unauthorized access to sensitive information. Types of phishing attacks. Email phishing. Email phishing is one of the most common forms of phishing attacks. Attackers send deceptive emails to large numbers of recipients, posing as trusted entities and requesting sensitive information or tricking users into clicking malicious links. These emails often contain urgent or enticing messages designed to elicit a quick response from the recipient. Spear phishing. Spear phishing attacks are highly targeted campaigns that focus on specific individuals or organizations. Unlike normal phishing emails, spear phishing messages are carefully crafted to appear legitimate and personalized to the recipient. Attackers can gather information about their targets from social media, company websites, or other sources to tailor their messages and increase the chances of success. Whaling. Whaling attacks target high-profile individuals in an organization, such as executives or senior managers. These attacks aim to trick key decision-makers into revealing sensitive information or transferring funds to fraudulent accounts. Whaling attacks often involve sophisticated social engineering techniques and can have significant financial or reputational consequences for targeted organizations. Vishing. Voice phishing. Vishing attacks use voice communication channels such as phone calls or VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, to trick individuals into providing sensitive information or performing certain actions. Attackers may impersonate trusted entities, such as bank representatives or IT support personnel, to gain the victim's trust and extract valuable information. Smishing. SMS phishing. Smishing attacks involve the use of SMS, short message service, or text messages to trick individuals into clicking malicious links or disclosing personal information. These messages often appear to come from legitimate sources such as financial institutions or mobile service providers, and may include urgent or attractive requests for immediate action. How phishing attacks work. Phishing attacks generally follow a similar pattern. Lure. The attacker creates a fraudulent communication, email, message, or website, designed to entice the victim to take a specific action, such as clicking a link, downloading an attachment, or providing sensitive information. Deception. Fraudulent communications carefully crafted to appear legitimate and trustworthy. This may include using a logo, branding or language consistent with that of the impersonated entity in order to deceive the victim. Action. The victim is prompted to perform a specific action, such as entering login credentials, verifying account information, or making a payment. This action may enable the attacker to gain unauthorized access to sensitive information or compromise the security of the victim. Mitigation strategies. Mitigating phishing attacks requires a combination of technical controls, user education, and active monitoring. Some effective strategies include employee training. providing training and awareness programs to help employees recognize the signs of phishing attacks and understand how to respond appropriately can help reduce the likelihood of successful attacks. Email filtering. Implementing email filtering and anti-spam solutions can help detect and block phishing emails before they reach users' inboxes, reducing the risk of employees falling victim to deceptive messages. Multi-factor authentication. MFA enabling multi-factor authentication for sensitive accounts requires users to verify their identity through multiple factors, such as a password and a one-time code sent to their mobile device. Enhancing security, an additional layer of is added. URL filtering. Deploying a URL filtering solution can help identify and block malicious websites associated with phishing attacks, preventing users from accessing fraudulent content. Security awareness. Regularly communicating with employees about the latest phishing threats and providing tips for identifying suspicious emails or messages helps reinforce security best practices and foster a culture of cybersecurity awareness within the organization.